All right. Shalom, shalom, Sister Deborah, prophetess in the wilderness. And you know what? That's all right with me. Coming again on this Deborah platform with another message. And I will say this is a lovely, early morning in which the Most High Yah has made. And I, Sister Deborah, shall and I will rest therein. First and foremost, I want to give all glory and honor to the Most High Yah. Let me kind of get my light from away from this corner here. Give all praise to the Most High, Ahaya, for all that He was, all that He is, and all that He's going to be. That's when you know Him like that. See, when you really know the Most High, Ahaya, is when you know Him when He was, when He is, and when He going to be. See, a lot of people, they want to connect themselves to Him and say, they all that answer. And I don't have no problem with that. But know Him before, now, and who He's going to be. See, when you know Him like that, then you can give Him all praise. You can give Him all glory. You can give Him all honor. You know who He is. Um, I want to say to you all that I'm just going to be doing some talking here. I might jump into Psalms because Psalms had a lot of verses from last night that I really didn't get into, and I should have. But first and foremost, I want to also share with you my little friend here. This is a friend of mine that abide within me. Right now, I'm showing you what it is on the outside, but this abides in me in a place where you can't just see it and behold it. But I can tell you one thing, you shall hear it, whether it's in your natural ears or your spiritual ears. You're going to hear it because this is what Sister Deborah going to lean toward this time of this the rest of this year is it is written. See, a lot of people didn't understand Yeshua on the mountaintop when he was saying it is written, and what he was saying that it seems like I got light, but it seems like it's still kind of, I'm out in the early morning, still kind of feel like everything is still dark. I'm like, okay, which way I should turn? But going back to what I was saying, um, uh, Yeshua was on a mountaintop. He wanted to make a statement. See, a lot of us don't understand that mountaintop wasn't really what you call a mountaintop. It was a mind game with Satan, you see? And he was only going on our behalf. Why? Because he came down that we may mimic him and his walk. Somewhere along the line, our men got on this trail, and I don't say our women is because the men led the women onto a trail where there's nothing but darkness. And because of that, women today live in darkness on that same trail in which the men has led them and their children and generations on this same trail. And I would say that if we would have just kept our eyes on Yeshua, the world called Jesus, if we would just kept our eyes on him and mimic him, saw his ways, because he came into a woman's womb to come out of a woman's womb as the Son of Man. That means he came out in flesh and blood like you and I to walk in a way in flesh and blood that we too shall see him and mimic him. But somewhere along the line, man decided to go back to the days of old and take every way of everyone that was in the flesh that was loaded with sin and mimic their ways, walk their ways, live their ways. That's why they can't shake this polygamy, because they're going back into the old. Why do they go back there, Deborah? Why? It's because it that suits them to live in that day. Because in that day, men was looking at women as cattle, as wealth, as servants, as under their feet. That's where they're trying to get the women today. And they got them there. somewhat, but in a worse state of mind. See, the women don't understand you are in a worse condition than you have ever been on the face of the earth because you don't pick up your what one would call in this day and time your cross and follow Yeshua HaMashiach. You don't do that. You pick up yourself and run after a man in the ways of the flesh of a man. I don't care if he's your husband. I don't care if he's your father. I don't care if he's your pastor, your bishop, your apostle, your prophet. I don't care if he's your teacher, he's your minister. You don't ever want to pick up anything and follow him. Even Paul say, follow me as I follow the Hamashiach. I don't want to wake everybody up. Why? Because he wants you to know he follows the power. That's what Paul was saying. He said, follow me as I follow Christ. Paul knew that the power was worth following. What happened? And it hurts in a way in the flesh because it's over now. You can't even find your way. You can't even go back to pick up what you lost because it's just too hard for everybody. Do you think for 1 minute that if I was talking the things of the world and following still behind them same men, they say they pastors, they bishops, they apostles, they teachers, they prophets, they're Maureen, they watchmen. If I was still following behind them, I have lots of subscribers and likes because I'll be following behind the flesh. He said, he that is born of the flesh is of the flesh. That means they're going to come here born to do the ways of the flesh. They're going to die the way of the flesh. See, a lot of people don't understand. They think it's talking about born again. No, no, no. He that is born. See, he's telling you, you're born either to do the will of the flesh or you born to do the will of the spirit. Even though you might walk in the ways of the flesh, y'all know if you born of the spirit. Because this is the way you come in. It's the way you go out, you guys. So when he's saying born, he's speaking of he that is born of the flesh is of the flesh. That means you're going to come here representing your flesh in the flesh of the world. Born, that's what it means. Just as Yeshua was on the mountaintop. He said something that very powerful, and here today I still use it. It is written. Sometimes I'll be on here and I make that statement. I actually speak that. For it is written. Because I want you all to know I come from a different end. Many of you come from a different end, but you are so stuck still yet today in that flesh realm in which you wasn't born of the flesh. But because you haven't had anyone to speak to you in the spirit and truth realm, you still live in the flesh realm. Don't mean y'all ain't gonna come get you, because he gonna get what's his. But he only coming for he that is born of the spirit. He's gonna allow them to find their way. So when Yeshua is on the mountain in the mind, tackling Satan, tricks toward the flesh, he said, it is written. You guys, you don't understand. For sure, it is written. Written mean past tense. Mean heaven has written it out. Heavens has sealed it. It is written in the heavens. So whenever you see something in the Bible and it says, it is written, that's letting you know, stand your tail down. Honor the fact that heavens has already got it locked in and locked out. You can't mess with this. And that's what he was saying to Satan. A lot of people didn't understand the purpose of Yeshua fasting those days, all those days, was not for the spirit. It was for the flesh. See, I'm going to tell y'all something. I understand either you for the flesh or either you for the spirit. But watch this. When Yeshua came, let me tell you what he did. Y'all want him to set an example to you and I in the flesh. Because we're not of the world, but we're in it. So represent spirit, even though you in the world, but not of it. How do you do that, Deborah? Is you see how Yeshua represent. He fasted all those days just to be tempted. And I sit back and I say, look at that, Father. You laid it out as plain for us. You said it just as plain. Anybody should be able to get that. He fasted all those days to be tempted. You know why he's being tempted? For you and I, for you and I, for you and I was he fasting to be tempted. Because Yah wanted him to go to the mountaintop. And you have to understand, to the mountain is a high level here. It's not really to a place of mountains. It's the high place here in our minds. Satan takes us to a higher place here. So Yeshua, the way he was going in to be tempted for on our behalf, not on his, but on ours. At that moment, that should have let you know that's who we were to mimic, because he set the ground for us on the earth, in the world, but not of it. And we still today look at the face of our loud, ugly mouth men, and we take on the traits and the belief and their understanding and their interpretation, when everything was clearly given to us in the brightest light possible, which was Yeshua HaMashiach. The brightest light possible was given unto us. But we chose to turn away fully in the year 2023 and look at the dark face and mindset and mimic the ways and interpretation of the flesh of other men who don't have not even a drop of the sacrifice of the lamb slaughtered before the foundation of the world. So we go after the darkness and we make it light in our eyes of our flesh. But when Yeshua went to that mountain, he went to that mountain for you and I. That's why he needed to fast. What do you mean, Deborah? See, he didn't need to fast with the power of Yah's word and the power of Yah's spirit and the power of Yah's right hand in him. He had to go like you and I in the flesh to that mountain of mind, that thing that Satan tempts and go after. When Yeshua went there. But one thing I can say that I have said over and over, it is written. That's what we have to live on. Every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yah, not out of a book, but out of the mouth of Yah. Why? Because the mouth of Yah can speak and bring Satan to his knees until he's under your feet. That's why people can't defeat alcohol, drugs, lust, porno, raping and murdering, and I said drugs, alcohol. I mean, all these addictions. They can't even beat them because they trying to beat it out of their flesh power, and there's no power there. When Yeshua went to the mountaintop in his mind with Satan, he set the foundation for us that is born of the Spirit. Because he knew even though we were born of the Spirit, we still sit and stand in the flesh in this world. So he left us things, so many things that we can work with. And that is mimicking him. And you got these sick men. And yes, they're the sick that's beyond Sister Deborah's sick. They are sickness, which is a strong delusion and a reprobated mind. and they lead in the multitudes. Just as Yeshua, he sat there and stood before Satan's thoughts and his mindset of everything he was bringing here. Why do you say that? Yeshua didn't have the Ruach. He didn't have the power of the right hand. And he didn't have what you call the word. He went up there in flesh of a man. He went up there as born of a man. And when he got up there, he had to deal with Satan as we do today. It is written that man shall not live on bread alone. He's telling him right there, this thing for the flesh, we don't just live on, but we live also on the word of God. That's what he had to say to Satan. And while saying it to Satan, he was teaching us. And we missed it. We miss it today. All that good stuff that y'all left for us. And then he told him to jump off, in a sense, commit suicide. He even told him, get ye behind me. Everything he was telling him was letting him know that he serves the Most High Yah. And that the thing Satan was coming after was never the spirit, you guys. Satan already know he can't win your spirit over. Why is it Satan can't win your spirit? Because your spirit is already assigned, you guys. Your spirit is already assigned to the Lamb Book of Life, which is the oneness book, or to the books. There's two. Which one are you? A lot of times you can tell by your lifestyle, how you think, how you function, how you carry yourself, how you put your treasures in your fleshly heart and put yourself up here and make yourself think that you're going to defeat all the prophecies that the Father has, because I got this, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get this, I'm going to be here, I'm going to be here, I'm going to grow this, I'm going to grow this, I'm going to build this, I'm going to build this. And not understand you are in the world. When you think that thought, you are in the world and of the world. Because all those things is for the world and your flesh. What food do you have? What can you build on in your spirit? What treasures can you lay up in the heaven? What food can you plant in others that is spirit? You can't. You're so busy planting natural food. You could care less about the spiritual food. Because you don't understand this thing is spirit and truth. Either you're born of the flesh or you're born of the spirit. It's a reason why he said, seek ye the kingdom. That means all the spiritual things in which I have set right here on your plate. Seek that first. And then after that, guess what? I'm going to see to it that my right hand power add onto thee. Not only the things in the natural, but continue to add on to the things which are in the spirit. For Yah said through Yeshua, and Yeshua through Yah, it is written. So while you all trying to rewrite this thing, and let me say this, and have rewrote every word to where people can now believe your wisdom, your knowledge, and your understanding. And the people have no food for the spirit. They running around here anorexia. And guess what? And zombie. Because you have given them nothing, no food for the spirit. And all that food for the spirit is building treasures for even yourself for the kingdom. Okay? So as I want y'all to, as I continue to speak, I want you to understand that and grip that. Yeshua wasn't coming to show up and show out. He was coming to teach us how to take the natural and live it in the spirit realm and walk it in the spirit realm. But we decide to mimic David, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Solomon. We decide to walk in their ways, not even understanding. They walked in the ways of the flesh that had sin, that did do sin and wicked, that wasn't perfect. But Yeshua come to walk that perfect walk in us, and we in him. And we turn our backs as if he knows nothing. I want to walk the way of man because I like that way. I can get away with this. I can get away with this. I can think I'm this. I can think I'm that. I can pretend I have. I can pretend I don't have. And people don't even understand. You're already born to your eternal destiny. Let me say that again. I'm going to say that 3 times. You are already born into your eternal destiny. You are already born into your eternal destiny. This is why you can't pull the sheet over your eyes, because the eyes have been on you before the foundation of the world. You've been locked into the Lamb Book of Life or the other books already. That's why I praise him. That's why I fear him. That's why I honor him. That's why I worship him. That's why I trust in him and him only. Because if I have to trust in these Maureen, these seers, these watchmen, these pastors, these bishops, these seers, these priests, I'm in the lake of fire already. My trust is in those things in which my Father has orchestrated from the spiritual level for me to receive in a fleshly body. I give him all praise and glory and honor. And I say unto you, it's a sad day, even though it's a beautiful one. It's a sad day because Sister Deborah can see the multitude flushing, running. Do you all think me being in that vision on that highway 20, probably 20 years, has it been 20? Probably about 20 years ago, on that highway, over on that overpass, looking and seeing the multitude running in one direction on the highway and could not see the pavement of the highway? All I saw was people running, men, women, boys, and girls, children, elderly, everybody running, but they all was running in the same direction. That was a vision from the spiritual realm, showing me the multitude of people running in east from, no, they was running west from east. And all the things that they had on one accord, they were saying the same thing. They were all yelling, fire, fire. They was running in the same direction, knocking one another over. That led me into a spiritual mission when the Father spoke to me and said, where are they running from? And I said on that overpass, Father, they running from the, I had to think for a minute because it was shocking. They running, because the question that he asked me, I was in the vision. I said, they running from the east, going west. And he told me to repeat everything. He repeated everything to me, and I had to repeat it over. And then he said, what are they saying going on? What are they saying? Can you hear them? Can you hear them? I said, yeah. They said, fire, fire. And after he repeated it a second time, I said, oh my God. They said it's a fire east, and they running west on one accord. You know how you see the pavement, which is the ground of the highway? You couldn't even see it. As far as I can see on that high overpass, as far as I can see east, as far as I can see west, above these people, looking down at them, I couldn't even see the highway. That's how many people was running. And after he put me through all of that, you know what he said to me? He said, okay, Deborah, I need you And I'm like standing up on that overpath in the vision. He said, I need you. Okay, they're running from the east going west. He said, but I need you. Praise the mighty God. I need you to go in the direction toward the east. You know what I said? And I'm going to be honest. On that overpath, I said, but they say there's a fire east and they running west. He said, yeah, I know. And that's how trembling my voice was. I can still remember it as if it's today. They said it's a fire east and that's why they running away from the fire. They going west. He said, yeah, I know. They say it's a fire, but I need you to go in the direction toward the fire. I don't need to serve you. I don't need to worship you. I don't need to honor you. I don't need to praise you. That's what I praise. That's who I honor. The one that tells me, go in the direction toward the fire. I need you to go in that direction. And the next thing out of my voice was, yay, God. And that was it. That was it. So I want to say to you, when you are born of the Spirit, you hear the Spirit. You walk in the Spirit. You know the Spirit. You see? You don't turn around, see the ways of the world, and say, I want to go this because the whole multitude is going in the direction to the world. I want to go in this direction they going in. I like what they going in. It's since everybody going that way, I'm going. That was an example in a vision of how the mindsets of the people that is born of the flesh is. They're going to follow the direction to chaos. Why was you saying to chaos? Looked like they was coming from the fire. No. They were knocking each other over, running in the same direction, yelling fire, fire, because they were all on one accord. You see, in that which is worldly. So I say unto you, I understand Yeshua going to the mountaintop here in the mind with Satan because he was spiritual. But y'all needed him to go to that mountain in the flesh with Satan, not in the spirit realm, because he knew that we were going to have to walk this earth in the world, but not be of it. So he was showing us how to walk in the world, but not be of the world. And we chose not to even mimic him. We decided to go behind man and woman. And how this devil platform came forth is to really divide who's who and what's what. And I love it because I can see, as one born of the Spirit, how off balance the measure is. It's as even as the narrow gate to the broad gate. It still matches. The balance matches. The narrow gate being very few, and the broad gate being many, era in which many shall go therein. And then I go back onto my little friend here, and it says righteous, belief, faith, and fear. I want to say to you, I give my Father a higher all glory and honor for allowing me to understand. Those that are born of the Spirit have these brands branded in their spirit already that shall lead them back to the Lamb Book of Life. Those that have not this brand, that's why people don't understand. You can get down here and, like Sister Deborah said, you can mimic all you want. You can get on this Deborah platform and say, oh, praise Yah and all this. It don't matter. Are you branded with this? Do you know if you branded? Most people don't even care because they think this is the time where I can fulfill my flesh and still yet proclaim that I'm walking in the Spirit. That means I'm not just of the world, but I feel like I'm a clown in the Spirit and in the world at the same time. And it's okay. Right now in this day and time, a lot of things, most of everything is okay. Because Yah wants you to understand. As I've told you all, you're just chasing your tail in a circle, in the tails of those who's teaching you and ministering to you and leading you. Okay, this here is the brand that's founded in the spirits of those who are going to return back into the Lamb Book of Life. This is what Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Solomon, Bozak, I had to add him. This is where David, this is the brand that was branded in them, that kept them from the flesh of who they were. They were born of the Spirit. He that is born of the Spirit is born of this brand here, you guys. The house of Israel is not born of this brand. Jacob is not born of this brand, meaning the tribes of Jacob is not born of this brand. Hear me now. I'm going to correct a lot of things I'm saying. I'm going to put it in the correct order. And what I mean by this, David, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Solomon, everybody that you find in Matthew chapter 1 in that list, they were branded for Yah's name's sake. What part of them that was branded? Their spirit. Their spirit was branded with this before they got down here. This locked them into the Lamb Book of Life. Okay? That means no matter what they did when they got down here, they were locked in here. That's why we can't mimic them in what they were doing in their flesh. As the men today say, polygamy is okay because David, Solomon, he didn't tell them. No, he didn't tell them a lot of things. You know what else he didn't tell them? He didn't tell them what Deborah know now, that you are branded for my name's sake. So when Abraham was in the vision, he believed. But the moment he came out of that vision, what did he do? Run straight to Hagar. Sarah gave him Hagar. Now, why are you running to Hagar when Yah just had you in the vision, told you he's going to give you out of your own lawn, he's going to give you your own nation? Why are you running here where Sarah giving you her maid? Why? How could that be? When Yah just told you in the vision. So it shows you that the belief that Abraham believed in the vision wasn't the belief that trust in the flesh. Why? Because he came out of the vision and bypassed what Yah said and went into a woman. See, that's power. That's called spirit and truth of the whole matter. Let's go there again. Abraham was afraid when he got in that vision. When he first got in that vision, the father had to tell him, it's okay, Abraham, it's me, the ruler of it all. I got you. Abraham was afraid because now he stepped in the vision for the very first time. And in that vision, the father laid out to Abraham everything that he was going to give him. How the sand of the sea and the stars of the sky, letting him know that I'm going to give you a son out of your own line. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. And it said that Abraham believed. Understand it. The belief that Abraham believed was disbelief in the spirit. Abraham didn't believe in the flesh. Praise the mighty Yah. Abraham didn't believe in the flesh. Abraham didn't believe in the flesh. He believed while he was in the spirit. And then what did Yah say? But I already counted you. I counted you already righteous because you are branded for my name's sake already. So his belief was in the spirit because he was in the vision and he believed. But the moment he came out of the vision, what did he do? He went over to Sarah. Sarah said, here, let her have you a seed. Let her, let her have you a child. So that shows you out there that Abraham did not believe in his flesh. He believed in his spirit. His spirit has all of these brands branded in him. So he can return back to the Lamb Book of Life as Yah's. That's why he was held blameless. That's the same reason with David. David took another man's wife and murdered. That was he did in the flesh. In the spirit, Yah held him blameless in the spirit. But in the flesh, he gave him consequences in the flesh. That's why his house was off balance from that day on. Do you see what I'm saying? I know you don't. Shh, gone over. So when you see Sister Deborah pulling this out, you got to stand down, clowns, and understand. This is brands in the spirit. Now, listen to what I'm going to say. When Sister Deborah said you can't mimic David, Abraham, Isaac, Solomon, you can't take what they did in their flesh because their flesh was loaded with sin. And you can't mimic it and say they had wives, they had these, and they did. Let me tell you something. Go back and do your study and look at the evil and wicked that was held in their household for what they did in the flesh. Look how what Sarah did by giving him her maid and having that child. Where did it lead Abraham today with that son? See, you see what I'm saying? So what glory is Yah getting out of it as far as in the spirit realm? So you can't make the things you do in the flesh, in the things that's on the outer man, justify, clarify, and identify because he didn't say not to do it and he didn't say to do it. So I'm going to justify it under righteous. The flesh of man put this mess under righteous and they seal it there and tell man, you can do this, you can do this, and you can do this because it is righteous. Because he didn't say it was unrighteous. God forbids that you continue to follow behind a mindset that's reprobated and strong delusion spirit has been placed upon them. Turn away from those wicked ways because Yeshua HaMashiach came and he said, it is written. That means it's not the ways of man that is written. It is the ways of Yah that is written. From when? Before the foundation of the world. Men cannot set their own guidelines, their own rules, and their own regulations, and then want man to follow behind them. Straightway, you have failed Yah in every way, shape, and fashion. And you want to appear to uphold the Most High Yah. Yah want to let you know you are following a leader that is reprobated, full of a delusion, a spirit of a delusion that Yah has poured upon his head. That means the whole ground in which a straight way walk on. I don't care what you planning. I don't care what you building. Those are things for the flesh of man. Those are things that are not set up for spirit. I know. He would tell you having children is representing the creation of Yah. But let me tell you something. There's two books. There's two different books. There's a Lamb book of life, and there's many other books. You can be birthed in those that goes in that other book, those other books. And that's what you're doing. So I, Sister Deborah, want to just leave this here with you to let you know the example of Abraham is found in twos. So when they say we are of Jacob, and they speak so highly of Jacob, Yah wants me to say to you, which of Jacob do you serve? The Jacob of the flesh or the Jacob of the spirit? For the Jacob of the spirit is these brands that's in the Jacob of the spirit. But if you are Jacob of the flesh, that's why you're on this devil platform, talking yang, 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 the things of the flesh, pleasing the flesh, desiring to bring forth things of the flesh. But notice there's two books. There's two books that you serve. And you bet it's not of the spirit. And I, Sister Deborah, prophetess, in the wilderness. In the wilderness. And I'm coming back with a lie. And I'm going to address straightway. I'm going to just address straightway since the Father explained to me he has poured out a spirit of delusion on the head of the leader there and the leaders who follow him. For it goes to his head and it runs down onto everybody that worship that head. I'm bringing a message to straightway, straight from the wilderness, from the Most High God. It don't matter who you are, who you think you are, what you feel. You better stand down, you clowns, because I'm coming with a message at 7 p.m. Central to straightway. Shalom and shalom.